أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربنا زدنا علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين آمين. Okay. So today we are in our Unlock the Quran Arabic Level 1 lesson number 4. Last class or yesterday we talked about pronouns. So we had discussed ism, we had discussed fa'al, we had discussed harf, right? And the category that we chose to discuss within the ism category was the category of pronouns, because they are honestly the most easiest to begin with, and things start making sense a lot quicker when we are talking about pronouns in Arabic. We talked about that ism or noun have male and female categories. Every ism has gender. It could be a man, or it could be masculine, or it could be feminine. Then another important thing we talked about was that in Arabic, when you are counting things, you have single person, you have a dual category, and you have a plural category, right? There's a word for one person, there's a word for two people in Arabic, and there's a word for obviously three plus. Make sense? Then we talked about that there are three persons whenever we talk in language. There's a third person, which we refer to he, she. There's a person we talk to, which is you. And then there is us, I and us. Right? Are we clear so far on that? This is going to be a running theme throughout Arabic language, that every word has a masculine and feminine, or they're male or masculine and feminine words in Arabic. Any ism, you can have a singular for it, dual for it, or plural for it. And whenever we speak in terms of three persons. Okay? Yesterday, the pronouns that we talked about, they are called detached pronouns. What does that mean? I'll get to the explanation of that in a minute. But before you get scared, we talked about for the third person, we have huwa. What does huwa mean? Very good. He. What does huma mean? Huwa is he or it. Why did I put it here? If it's a masculine noun, a non-living noun, that is a masculine word in Arabic, then we would still use the word huwa with it. Okay? Huma is they, but how much is this they? Is it they all or is it they two? They two. Very good. Then we have whom. What does whom mean? They all. Is it plural or is it two? Can I use whom for two people? Can I use whom for two people? No. I can use whom for three and more, right? Now, whom sometimes in the Quran can also come as him. It's the same word. Whom and him is same. Okay? And I will explain that when, inshallah, we will look at the example in the Quran. But for now, I'm going to remove it. Okay? When we do the examples on the Quran today, then we'll discuss it further. Okay. Then this was for the huwa, huma, and whom. Is this for masculine word or feminine words? Masculine. And I told you for our class purposes, we are going to always visualize men on the right side and women on the female on the left side to make things a bit more visual and clear. Now, if you see here, what does here mean? She, and can I translate it as it as well? Very good. So this it would refer to a feminine non-living object. If it's a living object, then I will say she, obviously. What does huma mean in this category? They, two females. Yes. I'm just going to put F for female. What is the plural here? How will I address all of the females? They all, I will say hunna. They all F. Okay? Very good. Very good. Very good. Is this much clear, right? Now, today I'm just going to focus on this third person because third person is usually comes a lot in the Quran. Um, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sometimes when He's telling us the stories and He's talking about nations and people, when we are talking about people, we use this third person. So I'm just going to focus today on these two lines and going to give you another way these pronouns are used in the Quran. This much is clear, right? Okay. And yesterday we did some examples, like we said, Huwallahu Ahad. We could spot these pronouns in the Quran, in the ayat from the Quran. And if you haven't done yesterday's lesson, you should go back and do the examples from there. Now, excuse me, I'm going to teach you a concept in which these pronouns that are coming as separate words, they become attached with another word. And how does the meaning change? So we call that process attached pronouns. What is the process of attaching these pronouns with another word, and why should we do it? The first thing we're going to look at is attaching the pronouns with noun. Okay, that's the first category we're going to look at. What happens when I attach these pronouns to a noun? We create a meaning of possessiveness. What do we do? Meaning of possessiveness. What do I mean by that? Meaning, if I want to say my book, his book, their book, okay? What kind of pronouns I'm using? Possessive pronouns in English, right? Your food, my food, his pen, his backpack, her children. Do you see the words that I'm using? The moment I say this, her, his, what comes to your mind? Relationship of possessiveness, meaning somebody owns something, right? Represents belonging there. These words, right? His, her, their, all these words tell us belonging. So how do we communicate that in our Arabic language? So we are going to first of all look at the pronoun we learned huwa. The beautiful pronoun we learned huwa, which means he and it. The possessive counterpart of huwa in the attached form is simply who. What is it? Who. Huwa turns into who to give the meaning of possessiveness. Okay? So for example, if I say kitab, okay? Kitab, which means book. And I want to say his book. Okay? I want to say his book. Right now it's a book. And I can say this book, I can either say this book belongs to him or I can say he has a book, right? In English, I can say he has a book, but it's too long of a sentence. So I just want to say, if I were to say he has a book, I would be using hua, right? Hua to say he. But I don't want to say this long sentence. I just want to say his book. So what am I going to do? I'm going to attach this who with it, and the word will become kitabuhu, his book. Okay. What did I just create? I created a possessive relationship in which this kitab is being owned. And who is the owner? This is my pronoun who, which means his, and this is the book. Does that make sense? Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, let's look at some more examples, shall we? So far, easy, right? Not scary. Okay. So I saw Hua. If I want to say he has a pen, okay? He has a pen. I would be using Hua and then qalam, right? That he has a pen. I would be using this. I don't want to use this. I want to say his pen. Okay, so I have the words qalam, my noun, and I have Hua. And I want to say his pen. I remembered that, oh, I could use who. So I will say plus who, and it will become qalamahu. Okay? Make sense? Easy peasy. Now, let's look at the word. Now let's look at here. What is the meaning of here? What is the meaning of here, guys? She, it. Very good. I want to say, instead of me saying she has a book, instead of me saying she has a book, I want to say her book. I want to say her book. So I will, the equal counterpart for here in its attached form is simply ha. What is it? Ha. Hiya's equal counterpart is ha. So what would be kitab will get joined with ha, giving us kitabiha or kitabuha, depending on, I mean, how these letters change or these vowels change. We will learn that later. But main thing is kitabuha, kitabiha, whatever it is, that is how it will be. Okay? Make sense? Her book. Okay. Now we figured out hua. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put down hua and I'm gonna put a line and who beside it. Okay? Then I'm gonna do here, put a line and put ha beside it. So you guys know what is the detached form and what is the attached form. Okay? Now let's look at huma. Huma stays huma in both sense. For male and for female, huma stays the same in its attached and detached form. The only thing changes is that if I have the word kitab and I want to say their book, I want to say their book, but in my head I want to specify their two book, meaning the book of two people, right? So I will say kitabu huma in both scenarios. Okay? Kitabu huma, it will come their book. The translation will become their book. Okay? And depending on the context, inshallah, when I will teach, I mean, this is with the noun. Whenever it's coming with a noun, whenever huma is coming after a noun or attached with a noun, the translation will always be there. Okay? Sometimes in the Quran, you see the translation of huma as them as well. Have you seen that? And then you get confused. Do I say them or do I say there? Know for a fact that when huma is coming attached with a noun, the translation will always be in the possessive form. It will be their book. When does it translate as them? Inshallah, we will cover that later. Are we good so far with this? Okay. Now, I wanted to, now let's look at the plural form. Now we knew that whom means, what does whom mean in masculine? They all, okay? And hunna means they all in feminine. In their attached setting, they also stay the same. Okay. So whether they come separately or whether they come attached, hum and hunna also stay the same. So let's look at some example. I want to say their book, meaning by this their I mean they're all of these men, their book, all of the book of all of these men. So I will say their book in English, right? So I will go by simply kitabuhum, their book. Now in English translation, interesting thing is kitabuhum and kitabuhuma are both translated the same way, right? English translation, both of them means their book because English is limited. But the moment I see it in Arabic, I know that Kitabuhuma is referring to a book that belongs to two people only. And the moment I see Kitabuhum, I know it's a book that belongs to all of the men. Does that make sense? How we are able to distinguish it, but we're not able to communicate it in the English language? Right? Now, if I want to specify that the book belongs to only women, I will use this. I will say Kitabuhunna, their book. Again, the translation is in English the same, stagnant, their book. But in Arabic, there are three different ways and three different meanings coming out based on which pronoun is being attached at the end. Kitabuhum, this is the book that belongs to all the men. Kitabuhuma, it's a book that belongs to two people. Could be male, could be female, or could be a combination of male or female. Kitabuhunna, again, the translation in English is their book, but in reality, the hunna is telling me, this book only belongs to all the females. Do you see why it's important to learn Arabic language now? Huh? Another example. Another example. How the translations can be misleading. Not misleading, that's not the right choice of word, but are limiting. They are limiting. They don't have the capacity to encase the vastness of Arabic language. So we try to learn the language so that we can truly understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Quran. Obviously, this course is not going to make you a master in the Quran, but it is going to give you some windows and some insight on the beauty of the Quran and the meanings and help you with the translations, inshallah ta'ala. Are we clear so far? Okay. Now, let's do a quick review and then we will look for examples in the Quran. Okay? So what I'm going to do, first, again, we're going to say huwa, huma, and hum. Then we have hiya, huma, and hunna. right? Now I'm going to write in a different color their attached counterparts. Huwa, if it comes in the attached form, will be hu. Hiya will be ha. What is the attached counterpart for huma? Same word, huma. Same word, huma for both. What is the attached counterpart for whom? Same, whom, and same, hunna. Okay? Huwa means he, it, she, it, they, two, male, they, two, female, they, all, male, they, all, female. And for the counterpart for the meaning for the here would be his, her, huma, their, whom, their. Do you see? Hunna, their. For four words in English, the meaning is there. But we know the subtle difference in their meaning by just looking at the shape and the sound of the word. Okay. Now let's look at ourselves. Ana. Remember Ana? What does Ana mean? I. Very good. What does nahnu mean? We. Very good. Very good. Okay. What if I want to say, instead of me want to say, I have a book, I want to say my book. I want to say my book. The Arabic pronoun that will be a counterpart to ana would be me attaching ya or ni at the end of a word to make it possessive to myself. And the counterpart for nahnu would be me adding noon alif at the end of a word to make it possessive. When I add ya or ni, it gives the meaning of me or my. And when I attach na at the end of a word, it gives the meaning of our or us. Okay? Make sense? Now let's look at an example. We have our handy dandy example of kitab. I want to say my book. So I will add, I want to say my book. What will I add? Aya. And it will become kitabi. Kitabi, which means my book. Then I have the word qalam, which means pen. And I want to say my pen. I will add, yeah, and it will become qalami, my pen. But I want to say our book. I want to say our book. So I will say kitab, and then I will add noon alif at the end, and it will become kitabuna, kitabuna, which means our book. And I want to say our pen because I'm just so lovable and I like to share my things with all of you. So I will say qalam plus na and qalamuna, our pen. Let's all write with the same pen together. Okay? Our pen. Do you understand? Now let's look at some more examples. Let's look at the words that you will probably see in the Quran. Let's look at the word Rab. What does the word Rab mean? What does the word Rab mean? The Quran students, you should know. Lord. Rab means Lord. That's it. Now, let's say I want to say his Rab. I want to say her Rab. I want to say their Rab. I want to say my Rab. And I want to say our Rab. All right? I want to say all of these words. Okay? I will say, what will I attach with this one? I want to say his Rab. You know how Bani Israel said to Musa alayhi salam, you and your Rab or his Rab. I mean, they wouldn't refer to Rab as my Rab, right? So I will attach Rab plus who. It will become Rabbuhu, his Rab. Very good. Then I want to say her Rab, her Rab. I will add ha with it and it will become Rabbuha, Rabbuha, her Rab. Okay. Then I want to say he's the Rab of, let's say, two people. Rabbu. I want to specify that I'm talking about two people who claim to have a Rab. So it will be Rabbuhuma, which means their Rab. But now I want to say Rab of all the men. All the men. I will say, I will attach whom with it and it will become Rabbuhum. Rabbuhum. Now I want to say he's the Rab of all the females. Okay, I will attach hunna with it and it will become, the translation will become Rabbuhunna, their Rab. Their Rab. Who is there? All the females. Okay, does that make sense? Now I want to say my Rab. I want to say my Rab. So I will add Rab plus, yeah, and it will become Rabbi, Rabbi, my Rab. And I want to say, let's make dua to our Rab. Let's all make dua to our Rab. I will say Rab plus Noon Alif Na. And that will become Rabbuna, Rabbuna, our Rab. Does that make sense? Is it hard? Or is it doable, easy? Hmm? Is it clear? Give me a one or two or something so I know that you guys are following me, so I should move on at that pace. Okay. So now let's look at some examples from the Quran, if we can find some. Shall we? Let's go look into Surah Al-Baqarah and see what do we see here. أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. Okay. First tell me, in this ayah, can you find a pronoun that is not attached to a word? Find me a pronoun that is not attached to a word. Whom, very good. That is the first step, which means they. Now you know, now the word whom, when it comes in the Quran like this, it refers to male and females. It refers to the entire group. So hunna comes to specify females. But if a hunna is not coming and whom is coming, just a generic word, then that would refer to male and female together, meaning a big group all together. Okay? Now, do I see any whom or any other word attached with any other word? أولئك على هدى من ربهم. ربهم, very good. I right away can identify that is the combination of two words, him and Rab. Rab be him. And I told you, Rab is a noun. If whom or him, I told you whom and him, whom is same as him. Why is it written as him sometimes? Inshallah, we will discuss that later. It's too much for one day. But for your purpose now, whom and him is pretty much the same word. It is actually the same word. So I see that this whom or him is attached with a noun. The moment I see it's attached with a noun, what should be my translation? Their Lord. Their. The word there of possessiveness is my translation. Okay? Is this clear? Now let's look at an ayah that has more of these. There we go. This is a beautiful ayah to discuss. Remember this ayah that we studied? خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ وَعَلَى سَمْعِهِمْ وَعَلَى أَبْصَارِهِمْ غِشَاوَةٌ وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. Can you identify pronouns in this ayah? قُلُوبِهِمْ سَمْعِهِمْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَلَهُمْ. How many pronouns did we spot? 4. We spotted it in the form of him and whom. And for our purposes, him and whom are same. Very good. But I want to show you a little difference here. قلوبهم, hearts, is a noun, verb, or فعل, or a harf. Looking at the meaning, hearts, is it a noun, verb, or harf? It's a noun. So the moment I see him attached to it, I know the translation will be their hearts, it's plural. I know that it's plural, okay? And it will be their hearts. Very good. Sam'ihim, hearing. Hearing, it's not a verb. It's talking about the action of hearing, the ability to hear. So him here is attached to a noun, and I know that translation will be there. No, sam'i is not a fi'l. Sam' is the act of hearing. Okay? Absarihim, vision, the ability to see. So their vision. So the translation becomes there. However, walahum. Now here, translation is a bit different. Of whom? What is whom translated as? Them. Because it's coming with a word. Is it coming with a noun? Is la a noun? Is la a noun? No. What did I tell you? The translation of whom or him would be with a noun. Today, what did we study? Attachment with a noun. When it comes attached with a noun, the translation will be there. Right away, you see, وَلَهُمْ, you can have an urge to translate it as there, but you will not, because you will be like, wait a minute, let me see what whom is attached with. Whom is attached with? La. La is not a noun. La is not a fail, so it must be a harf. And I have not studied yet. I mean, we have not learned in this class how the translation changes. Right? So whom here is them, which we will study inshallah ta'ala in the next classes, why the meaning is them here. But do you understand the first 3 understanding of this meaning? Okay, very good. Now let's look at a couple more examples. Let me give you another different example. Yes, for today, we studied the meaning of attached pronouns when they're attached with a noun. Now let's look at this ayah. في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ. Now I look at the word قُلُوبِهِمْ because I can spot my pronoun here. Is قُلوب a noun, a فعل, or a حرف? It's a noun. So right away when I see him, I know I will translate it as their hearts. Very good. In their hearts is a disease. فَزَادَهُمُ اللَّهُ مَرَضًا. I see whom again. I get excited. I'm like, oh, I can translate it right away as there. Right? No. That will be a wrong translation. Why? Because I look at the attachment and I see that, wait a minute, Zada is not a noun. He has increased. It has a meaning of time. So which means it's a fi'l. So I cannot translate it as there anymore. It's a verb. When whom comes with a verb, when whom comes attached with a verb, then the meaning of whom becomes them. When whom, huma, who, ha, hunna, these pronouns come attached with a verb, the meaning changes slightly. It becomes, instead of possessiveness, it gives the meaning of them here. Okay? Now, I'm just telling you this to know the difference. We will study this in more detail in next class. For today's purposes, all you need to remember is what? Okay, let's do a quick recap of what we just studied today. We studied about attached pronouns. Pronouns get attached with nouns. They get attached with verbs. They get attached with harf as well. Pronouns get attached with all of them. They're like, hey, we want to be friends with all of you. Today, we only studied about the attachment with nouns. Right? What happens when they get attached with nouns? This is to be studied later, inshallah ta'ala. So when you see in the Quran the words like who, ha, whom, hunna, okay, ya at the end and na at the end, you should also check what is it attached with, and if it's attached with a noun, your translation will be based on what we studied today. Is it clear so far? Anybody who is not clear? Okay, inshallah ta'ala, we will conclude our class here. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.